welcome to shed. I've got a fancy cup. Don't tell the missus I've got this in the shed because it's one of her nice ones. So tonight we're going to be bolting some bits on it. I'm going to stick the radiator on. I've given this a little coat of paint. I'll show you what it did look like. Here's one I said earlier. So yeah, I've got a few spares with this bike. And that's what it looked like about half an hour ago. So this radiator was off the race bike because it's got this funny old thermostat thing that's been welded in it, which I don't like. Right, so I'll give it a little rinse in the vapor blaster. I'll just give it a little coat of paint. I don't want to overdo it. It's a little bit dented on the back, but it's not too bad. So yeah, it looks a lot better than a rusty old piece of crap. So we'll stick that on. I've dug the brackets out, found some fasteners that will be alright. Stick the ignition coil on. That's really got to go on before the radiator because the bracket sort of covers it and it's a bit of a pain in the arse to get to afterwards. So there's that. So we'll stick the ignition coil on as well, and hopefully if we get enough time, as long as it don't make it into a feature length video, we're going to try and repair a throttle cable because I'm too tight to buy a new one. But essentially the throttle cable, it's in good nick, but the oil pump cable, so you have a 1-to-3 here in this unit here. So you've got one cable in, the 3 cables come out. 2 go to the carburetors and the other one goes to the oil pump, which is in behind this cover. Now they'd cut it off in here and there wasn't quite enough cable or inner cable to remake that end. So I'm going to keep the original outer because that's in good nick, and I went to Halford's and got myself some brake wire. So we're going to probably cut that off shallow and resolder a nipple snigger. Right, so let's crack on. So it's easier to, yeah, you won't see nothing from up there, I don't think. So it's easy to get the electrical connections on it while it's down like that. It's using a HT caps. HT stands for high tension. These little clips or brackets hold the power valve cables in place, so that's the next little job. So if you have a look in from up here, so you just got to make sure they're the right way around. Look that one on there. So the little nipples are in now. So those little clips can now go in place. So they're the same clip, I think, for both sides. So they go on like that. And all that does is stop the cable pulling through. So what you do is, there's a little mark in here, and you can see it's in the open position, OP. Alright, and that correlates with this little line up here. So that's got OP and that's the little time notch there. Alright, so that points to that. So what the idea is that you want to take I've loosened these tensions right off so you can get the cables on. So that's that. So like I say, when I get a battery on it, we'll be able to check. I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter which way around you put your plug leads, because I think, pretty sure it uses what they call a wasted spark. So they both fire when the piston's at the top, and they fire when the piston's at the bottom on the exhaust stroke. So that's the radiator bracket. It's got some rubber bushes for it, just a rubber mount at the top of the radiator. And that sits right up in the frame up in it. And I did run a tap through the threads up here because I'm full of paint, just to make it a bit easier. That also holds the horn. This one is do those up. That's the lower bracket, and also I think that's bent. That's got to be straightened up. But we'll get this on, get the radiator on. But I'm pretty sure that needs to be fairly level because that has a rubber bush on it, and that supports the lower, like the belly pan, and that stops the belly pan going side to side. So when we got the belly pan, and that will adjust it, but it looks like it's been bent. So we'll get the radiator bolted up first and make sure that's right, and then when, like I say, when the belly pan and that turns up, we'll get this in the right place. You can see that's a bit out of line, so that's definitely got to come up. That looks like it's going in the wrong direction. And then carefully, when I get a pipe for it, I'll carefully try and tease that down to where it should be. Alright. These are oozes. Ordered some clips off the interwebs because the OE ones, you can put like a standard Jubilee clip on it, but the problem with those is they're too wide, they don't look right. So that's I know it's an old Menke one. That's like a standard Jubilee clip, which you can use on any hose. There's nothing wrong with using them, but I just think they're a bit too wide. Whereas the original ones are more that width. So I thought, you know, blow the budget, I'll spend some money on some clips. Because these are like £1.30 each. Right. So I forgot to mention that before I put that pipe on earlier on today, you can just see the end of the pump in there if you look down there when the pipe's not on it. So all I've done is I've made sure that the coolant pump is working fine. So I just kicked it over very slowly and you can just see the impeller turning. So that's just a little check just to make sure the pump's going to work. Radio's on. I might just chuck some coolant in there. I'm just trying to get the air out of it. Should get a little air pocket. So written on here, you can probably see it on there, is a number. This is 1.1. That normally refers to the amount of pressure in bar that it takes to lift off its seat. So that cap's on there, and when the bike gets hot, the coolant can expand. And what will happen is if it expands, which it will do, it needs somewhere to go. So what happens is at 1.1 bar, this cap will lift off of its seal and allow the coolant to balance out down this tube and into the header tank. So it also does another thing. When it cools down, obviously it contracts, so the coolant's got to somehow get back in, and there's a second valve, which is this little one here. So when it's under pressure, it will lift the cap slightly and allow the pressure out of the system and get caught by the header tank. But when it cools down again, the coolant that's around here needs to get back in, so it goes back in this way. So under vacuum that'll open, under pressure that'll open. So that's quite a clever little device. It's more than just a cap. Let's get a $5.99 cable from Halfords. There's loads on that. And I think that end is probably alright for that. What I need to do also is make sure that will go through the header. So let's just shorten it. Don't need all of it. So I think that's been, because it fits all the other ones, I think that end one is a little bit tight, so I'll just so that's what happens when you open your throttle. Right, so that's one end. Silky, silky. Right. So now the hard bit. So what I've got to do is I need to make a nipple snigger. So make sure they're not crossed over, which that is. So in that position there, all the cables would be at their limit. So the hardest bit really is determining how long this cable needs to be. So I think I'm going to reverse this. So we'll put that one, that nipple, in this end, because then what we can do is pull this cable pull this down to here, so these are at maximum extent, i.e. when the throttles are shut, and then we can make off this end at the right position. So I think that's the way to do that. I think this cable is slightly larger diameter, so I'm just going to have to open that up a touch carefully. Put a little bit, not too much, but just enough. So you've got to be careful with these ends when you cut them, they can fray. So you just got to be a bit careful. So we'll just put that out of the way for now. The thing I'm going to do is we'll get the throttle slides connected up to those two. That gives a bit of tension on it. And then we can sort out the nipple for that snigger. Somewhere safe, so I'll just balance it up there, yeah. So that's definitely not going to fall off or anything. I'll leave that. I don't like it being there, it's giving me anxiety. These are special ones that are flat throttle slides. What you're looking for is excessive wear on them. So they don't feel excessively worn at all. So your little throttle cable. You have a spring, a retaining cover, which will fall off the end of that if not careful. So wind your adjuster in the top. Obviously you have to settle these up. That's for another night. These are quite good, they've got a little clip on it and that stops that cable falling out. So next bit, let's put your spring on, little clip, poke it through the hole, hold on to the nipple, snig up. It's just too childish. And then go through there. And then that little cover holds it on, so that stops the little end of the cable falling off. So that's one done. And the other one. So there's a little flat on there, and the flat goes to the rounded part, which seems a bit back to front. It goes to the rounded part of the throttle slide. If you put it in that way round, it won't go all the way to the bottom. So when you open your throttle, pull your throttle, it lifts the throttle slides, which allows lots of air and petrol to get mixed in the carburetor, goes in your engine, goes bang, makes it go along, brum brum. Right, let's get screwed. This is not a concourse restoration. This is just you know, doing a nice job. I know some people can go for absolute perfection, but at the end of the day I want a nice usable bike. If you make them too nice, then you're scared to ride them, you don't want to mess them up. And then to me that's not the point in owning it. I know somebody who's got some lovely bikes and he keeps them in his living room and he probably does 100 miles a year. He's probably got 7 or 8 bikes. It's ridiculous. Not each their own. I like thrashing them. I think that's what they're made for. And so what if you blow it up? You just rebuild it. So that's right on the bottom of the adjuster. So what we can do is make that a little tiny bit longer. We have a little nipple snigger. So childish. You're jobbed. Cover back on. So when I finally get around to starting this bike, I'm going to run it on premix to start off with. Just to, obviously I want a fairly oily mix to start with, because I don't want anything being bone dry. But what I need to do is take this cover back off once we start it, let it tick over, running on premix. But what I need to do is bleed all the air out of the oil tank feed, which I've still got to put in, and the pump and everything. So the way you do that is let it tick over and manually hold that pump wide open. Then you'll see the oil coming up these two lines, and when you see it in the two injectors, then you know it's fully primed and it's all bled through. Then you can run it on straight petrol with the premix tank. Right, so that is about it for tonight, I think. So, first thing is, I don't like the way they've yellowed, so I thought I'll try and do something about that. So I took one of my originals, I made an insert to go in here, which goes in that bit, put it in a little box and made myself a silicone mould, which is this. So the original part's in there with a little insert, it was held in a little box. So I half filled the mould with silicone to start with, and then once that had gone off, cast the other half. Now what I found with that is, well, the initial mould, the first one out, is what you're looking to improve. The first thing was, it doesn't stay on there because my insert was too big, and also there's air bubbles that I've got to sort out. So from my initial mould I made another one, and I put in a lot of air relief, I think they're called sprues or risers, and also I've done 3 of them as well. And out of that mould came these, so I cast them in this white polyurethane, but I still got to do a bit of work in there, because the original, the way it works, it's got these little clips are like a little sprung clip, so as you push them on, then they stay there, but then to get them off you can unwind them. So I've still got a bit more work to do, but what I was trying to do is, number one, try and get the air bubbles out of where they were sticking, and it seems to be working okay. The other thing was the colour, so it's quite important I get the colour right. So like I say, they're the originals. That was the first one out of the mould, which is just proving a point. Then I took this polyurethane and added a white pigment to it, but that's made it just too white, and these are more opaque, so they're more see-through. So the third mix, I know I've still got to do a lot of work with the mould, is this, which is sort of semi-opaque. What I had to do is get a crystal clear polyurethane and then put a tiny bit of white pigment in it, and I think we're nearly there. It's really close to like a nice white sort of opaque finish. But also the issue I'm getting, if anybody knows anything about polyurethane, I think I need a plasticizer in it, because this is really brittle, which is not what we want. And obviously they will snap if you try and open them up to get the pipe through. They'll snap. So I think I need to talk to the supplier and see if they can find something that's a bit more flexible, a bit more forgiving, or it might need a plasticizer in it to make it a bit more flexible. But so the progress is, I'm quite happy with getting there with the colour. So that's like a nice white version of that. So it's not yellow, but we're getting the opaque sort of finish, sort of semi see-through. So I'm quite happy with that. I've just got to do a little bit more work, maybe make some more moulds and do a bit of work around the insert, because the insert is quite important that we get this shape right in here. So I think I've got to make an insert to go in this way and this way. So it's just 2 bits of flat and a bit of flat in this side, and I think that's going to make all the difference. And obviously one in from this end. So when it's originally moulded in the plastic injection mould, these will all be, you know, part of the original mould. I'm pretty sure that's ABS, and it is quite forgiving. So that's where we are with that. When I've cracked it, you'll know because I'll stick them on eBay. But it's one of those things that it's an annoyance, but at the end of the day, it's just one of those little jobs that I want to get right, because I don't like the look of these horrible ancient plastic yellow ones. So that's about it for tonight. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Please leave a comment. I do read all my comments and I'll reply to everyone as well. So yeah, thanks for watching.